What's going on, guys? TBF Hero Nathan here, gonna give you a quick review for one of my favorite shows on Netflix recently, Umbrella Academy. So this is kind of just off the cuff. Just finished watching all the last episodes just a couple days ago. One of the few series that I have binged all the way through, and I want to do kind of a quick review of it and just talk about a couple of my favorite things. So this series caught me a little bit off guard. I didn't know anything about it, never heard about it beforehand. Have never seen the comics or anything like that, but really enjoyed the characters, the story, pretty much everything behind it, and just had a lot of fun with it. And I want to kind of tell you guys about it really quick. So this show starts off kind of just crazy out of nowhere. The very opening scenes set up where there's a whole bunch of people, years ago that had a baby like on the same day, same hour, the whole nine, and then this kind of crazy philanthropist goes around and tries to adopt all the kids, and he ends up getting six or seven of them. I think it was 7 total, right? And he actually adopts them, brings them to what he calls the Umbrella Academy, and then you slowly kind of get the history of how it came together, and then each one of the little backstories of each one of them. The main heroes that you see in this are the ones you see on screen right now, from left to right. Diego up top, Luther on the right, Klaus. Down on the bottom, you recognize her from X-Men. She's actually a pretty decent character in here. I didn't really know what to expect with her in here. In the middle there, you have number 5, and then the bottom right, Rumor. And I kind of bounce back and forth between their names, superhero names, and just because it's doing this kind of just off the cuff, I can't remember all their names off the top of my head just real quick. But they were phenomenal characters. Even Klaus, who I thought I wouldn't really like, the one on the far right. He's just a little bit too over the top for me, but I ended up thinking he was probably the best overall character by the end of the season, and just really had a good time with it. So it differs a lot from the actual comics. It's actually pretty interesting how much it actually differs from the comic book. Luther up on the top right, I won't give away too many spoilers. I'm going to try and avoid too many spoilers or anything like that. But you can see their comic book counterparts down below. They're definitely very different from the original comic book. I went back and kind of just looked through a little bit of the comic book to kind of get an idea for it after I finished with the show. Extremely different, but some of the changes were really good. It was a lot of fun to actually watch this series not knowing much going into it. If you're a fan of the original series, like the original comic, I don't know how you feel about it, because it does seem like they stray pretty far from it, but I don't think it's in a bad way. But you get your 5 main heroes who start off, and they actually are by the way, her name was Vanya. I just thought of her name real quick here, but Vanya is the one that is not pictured on this page here, because she doesn't have power. She's normal, so she doesn't really get put in with the actual superhero part of the group. But it's pretty cool. Just real briefly, the one on the top left, number 5, he can some kind of teleportation or travel through time, basically. Klaus can basically communicate or something with the dead. It doesn't really explain it really well until much later in the series. The third one, Rumor, she can basically whisper in someone's ear a rumor, and then it comes true, or they go ahead and do it. And in the comics, I guess she uses that to get super famous, or to pretty much have anything she wants. The fourth one, Diego, he can make knives go wherever he wants when he throws them, as well. It seems kind of like a Captain America type, really good fighting and stuff like that. And then Luther has super strength. It doesn't really talk a lot about his superhero stuff, and I won't go too much into what happens to him within the series, because I think if you watch it, you definitely want to kind of be caught off guard with it. But they just do a really good job with this group. Their interactions with each other, the fact that they're this family that's brought together, and you get to see them fight like a family, and then see them as both just regular people and heroes. And it's kind of cool how it fits together, and each one of them has their own story arc that's actually done really well. And just a quick picture of them as kids, and you notice there's a 6th one there, which is Ben. Doesn't really talk about a lot about him. I'll talk about him at the end of the video real quick, but he was kind of an interesting character. But you got your main 5 there on the left side. You can see Luther, Diego, Rumor. I keep saying Rumor because I can't think of her name in there. Klaus, and number 5. All right. The villains of the show, there's a couple different sets of villains, but these are the main 2 that you get a really good interaction with, which I didn't even realize until afterwards. I was told that's Mary J. Blige. I didn't look it up to verify, but that's what I was told, and she was phenomenal. He was phenomenal. They were actually really good characters who you actually start to like halfway through the show, which is kind of weird for a villain, because they actually let you get to know these characters, which is something a lot of these shows don't really do. After that, you have this lady who's in charge of the commission. Once again, I won't tell you too much about that, but they definitely play a pretty big part in it, and she's definitely nefarious and comes in and is just a really interesting character. You don't get a lot of backstory on her, but I think that kind of keeps her a little bit fun and mysterious. Another character that comes in later, and I just thought he did a really good job in it, Harold, and I've seen him in a couple movies, but I just can't think of him off the top of my head. But did a really good job with the part that he was playing. Enjoyed it a lot, and he's fairly pivotal within the series. So it was a lot of fun to watch his character develop as well. So this series was really caught me off guard with how much you end up liking each one of the characters or disliking each one of the characters based on what they're trying to show you. So like I said, the original comic book, you can kind of just see how different the characters here are from what they are in the comic books. But overall, it's a show that's definitely worth your time. Definitely give it a shot. It's 8 to 10 episodes long. I can't remember, but it's one of those ones that I actually watched it almost straight through, and then when it was over, I was kind of bummed out that it was over, and I'm hoping they're going to do a second 2. They definitely left it open for a season 2, and I don't know. We'll have to see what happens with it. But it's just it's one of those few shows that I sat down and actually stayed up way too late watching because each show kind of ends on a little bit of a cliffhanger and it draws you into the next one, and you actually do care about the characters, which is just rare these days. A lot of times people forget that what makes you care about a show is not crazy special effects, it's not blood, violence, gore, all that kind of stuff, which this show has plenty of the violence and all the other stuff going on with it, but it is just the characters. You have to care about at least one of the characters on there. And this does a good job of making you care about several of them. Like I said, even the villains you care about a little bit in this one, which, like I said, very, very rare. And then the only thing that I really didn't like, I wish we would have got more with Ben. You'll have to kind of watch the show to see what's going on there. But basically, Ben gets a really small part within the show. I mean, he's important, but they just don't go enough into it. And at the end of the show, we were kind of asking ourselves what exactly happened with him and what's going to happen moving forward with it. I'm hoping season 2 they kind of explore that a little bit more, as well as some of the other stuff in it. So I've tried to keep this as spoiler free as possible. Hopefully you guys like the quick review. Definitely go check the show out. Want to keep this one under 10 minutes, make sure it's not too long. So just a few days into the first channel, want to do a few different videos here. Pretty much we're sticking with all things comics, all things reviews, superheroes, supervillains, like I say, comics, movies, cartoons, pretty much anything that kind of just catches our eye that we want to talk about real quick on the channel. Kind of a fun little experiment for us. I do have another channel, TVF Gaming, if you guys want to go check out some gameplay stuff. We just play a lot of different random games, a lot of different playthroughs over there, and we get a little bit more long-form content here. I'm going to try and keep my videos mostly short here. Got another video coming out in a couple of days that's going to be the top 5 or the top 10. Haven't decided how we're going to do it. DC movies, and for that one, you can't stick with it just the DC universe. It's going to be just overall DC movies. So from the old school Superman to the most recent Aquaman that just came out just recently, and then Wonder Woman later in this year, which can't review yet, but obviously it'll be out pretty soon. And in a few weeks, well, maybe a month or two, it's going to be Avengers time, which is going to be awesome. And Shazam too. Man, this is such a good time to be a fan of superheroes, comics, and stuff like that. So hope you guys enjoy the video. If you do enjoy the video, make sure you hit that like button. Definitely comment down below. Let me know what you think of the Umbrella Academy. If you've seen it, what you thought of it, who your favorite hero was, you name it. I love talking about Umbrella Academy. It's one of my favorite subjects, and not enough people have seen it to be able to talk to them about it. I'll see you guys in the next video.